So what's up, closers, and welcome to another episode of the Closers Club podcast. Today I had the pleasure of having Eric Carey on the podcast to talk about Datasafe. It sounds like a high-tech company, but it's actually low-tech. What am I talking about? I'm talking about shredding paper. And if you didn't know it, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry that financial companies around the country need in order to make sure they stay data compliant, they don't compromise their customers' information, and it's a great opportunity for folks like you to get into a new industry and start making money. Eric shares how he got into the game, he shares what the process looks like, and he's working on something to help others learn this business so that they can grow. I really appreciated Eric's energy because he talked about not just the highs, he also touched on the lows, and he talked about what it takes to kind of be thrown into a situation and have to figure things out, kind of like building that parachute on the way down after jumping out of an airplane. But that was pretty much Eric's story. So I hope you enjoy this. If you love this type of content, please be sure to like it, share it, because it really helps the channel grow. And again, I just thank you for tuning in. Let's get into it with Eric and his amazing story. Welcome to another episode of the Closers Club with me, your host, Robert Nichols. Today, I am joined by an entrepreneur in his 20s. His name is Eric Carey, and he is the owner-operator of Datasafe. How you doing today, Eric?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you, Rob?
I'm great, man. Thanks for coming in the studio, man. It was pretty cool. You know, we go to the same gym, TMX Boxing. Shout out to TMX, Chris Ryan, Sarah, Marty, the whole crew. You guys are great and made a great connection with Eric and I.
Thank you.
And Eric, man, I definitely wanted to have you on to really share your story, share where you were born, raised, and how you got into entrepreneurship in an industry that I believe that not many people are aware of, right?
Yep.
We've heard of it, but more importantly, most folks don't even know how to get into it, man. And I think it's a very profitable business for you. So speak a little bit about where you came from, born and raised, and how you got into entrepreneurship.
Well, I guess we'll start from diapers. We'll go for that.
Cool.
I was born in Hanover, Massachusetts in 1996, 28 years old.
Yep.
Went to Hanover High, pretty normal stuff. Really, when I got into this was in 2017. I was at University of Tampa. Unfortunately, I was kind of floundering there. I didn't really know what I was doing. I just didn't know where I wanted to go. So I did end up dropping out of University of Tampa to work for my dad. So this was 2025, almost 10 years ago now. I worked for him for about 5 years underneath his tutelage, his studies, all that happy stuff. Learned a lot, got a lot, but at that time, I wasn't ready to fully jump into a business. I wanted to do my own thing. I wanted to be like, I love your business. I love what it's provided for us, but I don't know if it's for me. I wanted to be a therapist, actually. So I went to Quincy College and Bridgewater State for psychology and just studying to be a therapist. Now, it is a little unfortunate, and I've told you my father passed away last January. So
Sorry for the loss, man.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you. But when that happened, I saw like this, effectively a golden goose. That is something I know how to do, something I'm good at, talking to people, working with people, and also just getting stuff done. Too good of an opportunity for me to pass up. So I just, from last year, I am now the commander-in-chief of the business, and it's a lot different than being the second in command. A lot different.
I believe it, man. Talk about some of the biggest differences, and also, Eric, what it is you guys do, right? You guys, it's a shredding company.
Yes.
But what does that mean, and why is it a valuable service that so many businesses pay a premium for?
Absolutely. So I'd say the major value in the shredding industry is that there's lots of information for tax people, accountants, hospitals, banks, all these very important industries that need paperwork gone completely, and not just some hand shredder, something that it just makes it so small, so indistinguishable, you got no chance of ever having a data breach. So we work for, like I said, a bunch of different people, tax attorneys, accountants, lawyers. I've actually shredded dentures before, which is
really?
Yes, because it's medical info.
Wow.
And these things can pulverize just about anything. So I also shred electronics. We recycle everything too, so it's not just goes in a landfill. That's very important for us too, because the environments, we live here, so we want to keep that safe. But it has been very, like I said, very interesting going from like, hey, go do this, or like, hey, go handle this phone call, to handle everything. Handle the bills, handle the vendor prices, handle marketing, handle the networking, handle everything. It's been definitely an adjustment, but also something I've been very proud of, because I'm definitely learning, I'm adapting, I'm getting used to just like being the boss. And something I never thought I'd really say when I was younger, but I'm proud to be able to say I do it now.
I love it, man. Yeah. What was the hardest part about stepping into that role? Because it sounds like it was kind of sudden. It wasn't really planned, and you just had to kind of jump in and figure it out. What's that journey been like for you, Eric? And what was the hardest part of that?
Oh, geez. Well, there's several jobs I've had where I've basically been thrown into the fire. So this wasn't something I was too unfamiliar with.
Yep.
I worked in mental health for a little bit, studying to be a therapist, and they were very low staffed at the time. So they said, just go ahead, see what happens. I was like, okay. And it actually worked out really well. I made great connections. I met wonderful people, heard their stories. They listened to mine. It was a great experience. But that was my first time being like, go do it. And I was like, okay. So when this came up, obviously there was a lot of grief. That was probably the hardest aspect of taking control. It was just like, this is my father's legacy. Now I got to not live. It's very, very important not to compare myself to him. Take the lessons he taught me, take the tutelage, everything that I learned from him and apply it. But major difference is the stress, because we could kind of like tag team difficult situations. I can go, hey, what do you think about this? Hey, what do you think about this? So kind of get into this later, but not having that sort of mentorship can be difficult. So I think that was the biggest thing, is not having the mentor right by my side like he was. Yeah.
Right. Gotcha. No, I appreciate you sharing that, because I think a lot of folks out there who are going to watch this and are listening to this right now, really, they want to get into business, they want to get started, or they've started a business, but they struggle to figure out how to grow it. And so it sounds like you guys have done really well. You kind of stepped into something that was established. Speak about your plans to grow the business, Eric, and lead generation. Like, kind of what's your day-to-day look like, and how much of that time is spent on generating leads versus kind of managing the business?
Well, my notebook is my savior. I try to write down every single thing I have to do there, whether it be a benign thing, a big thing, just check it off. So I'd say maybe 3 days a week, I try to sit down, look into adverts, try to be like, okay, where can I pump some money into on Facebook ads, maybe some Google ads, maybe, like you said, some SEO stuff, which still getting used to. I have some contacts that are really helping me out there, but that's a big portion. 2 days a week, I'm probably in the truck, dropping off buckets, going to meet a client, shredding stuff. And then Friday, I bill. So that's like the week's done. Friday, let's get the money.
Get the money, man. That's right. Payday.
Yeah. And that's the other thing, is like a big lesson I've learned. The buck starts and ends with me. That's new. I mean, it's just like I do these jobs and it's like, oh, got to get on those bills. Like, just because the job's done, there's the other follow through sometimes. It's like, send the bill.
Right.
Please send the bill. Yeah. The job always gets done.
Gotcha. How big is your team?
So this is kind of interesting. When COVID hit, a lot of things went a little funky, as you can imagine. At that point, like I said, trained to be a therapist. My dad said, maybe it's time to, retire, time to wrap it up. COVID hit. We had a driver. He walked off the job, said, I'm going to Chicago.
For what?
Didn't tell us. Just went to Chicago. I said, okay.
Gotcha.
We thought about selling, but my dad spoke to some other vendors in the area, and basically they worked out something where I don't necessarily have a driver, but I have 3 different vendors. I'm a subcontractor at this point. So I work with 3 different vendors all over Massachusetts. We have great rapport. I find a contract, I find whatever. I say, hey, do you want to work with this together? We work out a price. Job gets done. We all get paid and we ride off into the sunset. It works out really well. And I never thought it would that way.
That's awesome.
Because we were like, this will be temporary, then we're going to sell it. It's okay. Yep. And then that was 5 years ago. These people are like very valuable to me. I'd like to think I'm valuable to them as well.
Correct.
And big thing, I don't have to deal with the drivers, which was a tough part for my father and I, for sure.
I love that you shared that, because ultimately I truly believe, and I've adopted that mindset as well for my business, is that the marketing is the business.
Yes.
My ability to generate income comes down to my ability to generate leads. And so if I can generate enough leads on the lending side, right? I'm a hard money lender. That's one of the businesses I run, and also a real estate coach. But if I can generate enough leads for both of those businesses, I have systems in place already to make sure we can deliver on providing the capital, deliver on providing the mentorship and coaching these folks need. So that's interesting you share that. So you'd agree, for you, the marketing really comes down to, that is the business for you. You generate the business, you build, but you don't have to deal with the drivers or the trucking or even the equipment. So all of the shredding, like all of that is like third party service providers.
Now I also, if it's a bigger job, $20 to $50, I will also go out, because I don't want to just be like a faceless entity that gives orders. That doesn't, it's not a good look.
Yeah.
So if it's a bigger job, I always go meet the client. I always shake the driver's hand, say, how you doing? Like, how we feeling good? Just making sure I'm not just like because no one wants to be given orders if they don't know the person. In my opinion, it's just like, well, who are you? You're just no. Shake a hand. Nice to meet you. It's a lot different in my experience.
Yes, quality control as well, right?
Yes.
Because if you're there, you're going to ensure that job gets done to your satisfaction. And I think that's the biggest struggle with leveraging these types of models where you generate the business, you're the business development guy running your company, but you're dependent on others to deliver. And if they don't deliver, then you don't get the contract again. Has that happened before?
Yes, it has.
Really?
There's been moments where I will give clear-cut directions, sometimes emails, phone calls, there's miscommunication. So I haven't necessarily lost a contract from it, but I have had some phone calls, maybe some upset emails, and then that's the next part, recovery. What do you do? How do you handle an upset customer? Do you lower the price? Do you get out there the next day? How do I handle it to maximize a profit and keeping a smile on the customer's face, which can be a balance for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Speak a little bit, Eric, about like just, I guess, the model. Like, how much do you charge per barrel, right? Because it's by the ton. Is it by weight? Like, I'm just more curious about the business as a whole, because this is a business a lot of folks don't know about. So
there's a method that my father started that I sometimes adopt if necessary. It's by cubic foot, like the volume of the material. So let's say it fills up like a particular volume of the paper fills up the bucket to a certain degree, the volume of it. So we kind of charge off of that. That could be a bit more difficult for me with the math and just trying to kind of justify it to customers a lot of the time, because my dad was he was a good businessman for sure.
Yep.
But for me, I usually charge by the bucket. It's the easiest way. It's the easiest way for the customer to understand. It's the best way for me to understand. So generally by the bucket, if I go and someone's like, I have 5 boxes, okay, I'll charge for 5. If I go and there's 20, that obviously I got to charge a bit more, because but I never do surcharges. I never do hidden fees. Because especially where I'm small, it doesn't seem prudent for me to be like, oh, here's an additional $50 bucket pickup. I want to keep it streamlined. I want to keep it quick, in and out, go from there.
How much do you charge per bucket?
It depends. So there's different
what's the
volume.
range?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the big LSC, which is a 96-gallon bucket, it's like 5 feet tall, can hold 350 pounds of paper. So that's pretty good. And then the 64 holds 250 pounds of paper. If they're full, depending on, maybe for a medium bucket, I'll charge like 200 to 300. The fuller buckets, like 400 to 500.
Gotcha.
And if there's like 5 of those per building, it's not bad.
Yep.
At all.
Nice, man. I love that.
Yeah.
What's your margin relative to the subcontractors on? Is it 50-50, 70-30, 80-20?
It can vary.
Okay.
Like some months we do a lot of jobs together, but they're like bigger jobs, so they have to charge me more, understandably.
Yep.
So it kind of depends on the month. Generally speaking, to break even every month, if not make a profit. Because if I start to go down, obviously I have to change something. But right now it's pretty smooth sailing. I either make a profit or break even. So I mean, I will certainly take that.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. No, it's a very, very interesting model. The way you're structured, man, it sounds like it's really a relationship-driven business, and you really have to trust the people you work with, man. And are these relationships that you had to establish, or your dad, prior to passing, he kind of set this up,
Both.
this model?
So
okay.
A lot of the bigger contracts he's had for 10, 20 years. And then like they like us, we're there, and like I answer the phone. Main thing, like you call a bigger guy, you might not get someone on the phone for an hour or two. That's one of the big marketing things my dad
That's
said.
a great point, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
And especially the shredding guys, and they'll say, we'll be there Tuesday. They're not there till Thursday at 4 p.m. Because they're so big, it's just like you don't have to be as careful. You don't have to be as like, we'll be there.
Yep.
Maybe we'll be there. It's a little different. And that's a big kind of leverage that I have. Like me, you get me, I'll be there. Again, like I said, no surcharges. Like, I'm a human, local business, go from there. That kind of thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, Eric. Do you work from home, or do you have an office? Like, how are you set up?
Just from home for right now. Yeah.
Okay.
There's no need for really an office. I can get everything I need. Yeah. Everything I need to get done can get done at the kitchen table or my desk. But sometimes I work coffee shop, wherever. Just as long as I have the laptop, I can work anywhere.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
I love models that allow you to have freedom.
Flexibility is very
flexibility,
important.
yeah. Yeah, no, that's great.
Because it allows me to pump in so much more time, just like I said, learning how to be a boss. What do I need to do? All the marketing, just all these other things. The flexibility provides a lot.
Right.
Yep.
Absolutely. Cool, man. Now that's been great to really learn about your business. tell me, Eric, how do you stay motivated?
That's a tough one because I will admit, Rob, a big thing that sort of detracts me from motivation is it's a little bit of fear, it's self-doubt, and especially where, like I'm mentioning, being the boss, and then something I've struggled with throughout my life is just, can I do this? Can I be the boss? Can I be successful?
Yep.
And with the gym, with working, with reading, with a lot of factors, that's how I stay motivated. Like I said, we go to the same boxing gym. On the heavy bag, sometimes like my body just sort of freezes. It seizes up, and I'm like, I want to keep going, but there's something in the back of my head that's like, you can't. Yes, I can.
Yep.
Who was saying that?
That's right.
At what point did my own brain start saying, no, you can't do that? It's like sometimes, and it's a common saying, it's like you're your own worst enemy. I find that that's pretty prevalent, but what I am finding is that through that physicality, like I mentioned, the boxing, also getting these contracts, making these phone calls, it gives me so much more confidence. It inspires me to be greater, just be better, and build this. So it's a matter of that, letting out some of the nerves physically, and also letting out some of those nerves just with action in the business, and it just sort of simmers away. So it works out.
I love that, man. And would you say that your ability to overcome kind of the fear or the resistance, it really just comes down to kind of just keep punching? Like, is that kind of how you would classify it, or what kind of keeps you going? Like, when you feel that resistance, is it focusing on previous wins? Is it mental self-talk that I can do this? You mentioned that. Like,
it's both. So like, physically, it's like, I want to be stronger, I want to be faster, but main thing, I want to be healthy. It doesn't matter if I can bench the most, it doesn't matter if I can squat the most. If I feel good and look good, that's what I want. When it comes to business, as much as it's more trying to, a main thing that I want in a driver for me is what I want in the future. I want to be successful enough to where my kid says, Daddy, I want to go to Disneyland. And I go, done. Not worry about it. Like, that's the kind of thing that drives me. It's like, I want the same amount of freedom that my father gave my family, and provide that to mine. Yeah, I know it's a bigger arching one, but for business, that's what keeps me motivated. It's like my girlfriend, my cat, my family.
Yep.
They just keep me going. It's like the community on my own. Like, you can't be an island all on your own. It's just like community really helps me ground, really helps me keep motivated. And then, yeah, hitting stuff helps too. A heavy bag specifically. Yeah. Hitting stuff, not people. Never. I'm a peaceful man.
I love it, man. You're a big guy, man. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yep. Awesome. So goals, you shared that, are really a big part of what drives you.
Yes.
With that said, Eric, like, have you ever had the goal to really like expand the business or exit the business? I know you mentioned selling at some point, you and your dad discussed it, or expanding it beyond just you running it and more training other people on how to get into your industry, right? Have you ever thought about that? I'm just curious.
Actually, no. And that sounds like a brilliant idea. Thank you for bringing it to my attention, because I've been in this for so long, it's my life. I mean, I've worked with shredding my whole life. I don't really, till you bring it up, remember that, like, not everyone knows this industry. Everyone sees those buckets if you work at a hospital or like a bank. You put the paper and it goes away, but what comes behind that? And like, what can you do to market that, expand a lot of things? And till you brought it up, that's a very good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, no, as you were speaking, a lot of my audience, again, they're entrepreneurial.
Yes.
And they want to start businesses that may not have a ton of startup costs. And if it's a relationship-driven business, there's a lot of people, Eric, out there that are willing to pay you for your expertise. No doubt about it. And it's funny because when I became a hard money lender, I kind of became a lender by accident. I had been trained by a mentor early on. He was a real estate developer, but originally he was a commercial finance guy. And I had the privilege of working for him right before the crash and during the crash. And his real estate development company went under. However, he went back to how he made his millions, and he took me with him. And that was commercial financing. Hard money was kind of more a side thing. He was like, yeah, you can do that too, but this is where the real money's made. And so I had really just gotten all this experience over the course of like 2.5, 3 years working with him. Wow. And I took it for granted. So a couple of my buddies, they'd want to, learn how to get some funding for a flip. And so, oh yeah, I can get that done for you. It happened once, happened twice, a handful of times. And I'm like, this is a thing. Like, they don't know how to do it. And so it's crazy how sometimes we get so ingrained and so much into our own worlds and bubbles that we forget that we actually have a skill set that really is invaluable for the people who need it. So I believe your business, like the model that you have, can really help a lot of folks get into entrepreneurship and, make you a lot of money in the process as well.
I wouldn't hate that. That sounds good to me. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's something we could talk about, for sure, because I've started to obviously monetize my knowledge through masterminds and through different courses and trainings. And I can clearly see there's something here, man.
Awesome. Well, again, someone as robust in your career, that means a lot. So thank you. I mean, I think that's a great idea because, you just said it, just considering what I do and then how I do it, it is a skill set. And then I can totally market that. But this is kind of what I mean. Being the boss, figuring out these things that I can actually use, and then you get these light bulb moments.
Yep.
You network at the gym. You meet someone like you who goes, have you thought about this?
Yep.
No, I hadn't.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Speaking of networking, like, are you networking to grow the business? Are you a part of any business groups or anything like that? Or are you kind of just doing your own thing and working off the relationships you have and on referrals?
At the moment, it's the second. So building up that LinkedIn, trying to add as many people I can. And I kind of was lackadaisical on that. That's all right. We're getting on it. Most of the time, it really is word of mouth. It's just like a client will say, client will meet someone else. Do you know a shredder? I do know a shredder. Here's his card. I hand out cards to literally everyone I meet. It doesn't matter if they're if it really makes sense. It's just, if you speak to me, here's a card, because it's so important. Because at any point, I need a shredder. Oh, I got a card from this guy at the bank the other day. Just so happens he does this. That even happened. I was at a bank. I heard overheard a woman speaking about needing shredding services. Ears perked up. I'm writing a check. Put the check down.
Yep.
Excuse me, ma'am. I noticed you needed some shredding services. I just so happened to run one. Now, that contract didn't pan out, but even then, it was just boom, out of nowhere. I almost got a hit. It's like, it's weird because I'm trying to do the marketing online stuff, but it feels like I'm getting more word of mouth contracts more than anything else.
Correct.
That works out, and if anything, that's good because I get to meet them, I get to shake their hand, all that stuff.
Right.
But the next big thing is probably not, and maybe I can ask you, this is one of the questions, is knocking on doors the old school way of just, here I am, here's a card. Do you think that's effective in today's kind of business market?
I love that question. So when I was younger, I'll tell you a quick story. California, right, is known for being cutting edge, ahead of the curve. All the new technology that we have on the East Coast starts on the West Coast. I don't know if folks know that, but like 9 times out of 10, that's how it works. So when I was younger as a real estate agent, I tried every marketing vehicle under the sun. I had lead generation pages. I had all the online ads, pay-per-click, valuation services, paying for Zillow, Truly, like you name it, I tried it. Mm-hmm. And what really got my business to take off was cold calling and text message campaigns, like literally targeting and messaging, like targeting the people who I know need the service I provide. Mm-hmm. So in the case of lending, it was borrowers who were actively doing deals. And you can find that in the data, right? You can look and see who's buying properties in your area and flipping them. And then secondly was the messaging. And at that time, the messaging was, we can close in 24 hours and we can close with a lower down payment. We can provide the funding with 10% down, which at the time, most lenders were at 20%. Mm-hmm. So like, if your targeting is spot on and your messaging is powerful, you will convert. And that's really where the expertise comes in, and where you have a leg up on a lot of people who are going to get into this earlier or now versus you kind of having years in the business and being a family business. Mm-hmm. But no, it works really well. I will say that everything works and nothing works as long as you're consistent. So I have had some success with online marketing. Lately, my social media following has grown enough to where I get a lot of leads from social media directly as well, which is pretty cool. Yeah. So I get a good amount of leads from social media. And then the last one that I think is definitely the most powerful outside of like direct, I call that direct connect, like door knocking or cold calling, is email marketing, Eric. It is like unreal. It's like putting your business on steroids. And so like I'll send some weeks 2 to 3 emails a week. And what am I saying in those emails, right? I'm sharing success stories of my clients, my customers, my students who are out here flipping. I'll have a link to a YouTube video where they could actually see the project, see the job that I funded, and get to know intimately how it was done. And so that they can understand how I can help them grow their business. But email, like for me, the thing I like about it is you cut through the noise. Social media, they say maybe 1% of your content gets seen by your audience, like, or excuse me, 1% of your audience sees it. So I've got like 15,000, 14,000 people on IG. So
maybe 100 people are seeing my stuff, right, consistently. Whereas email, I usually get anywhere from a 30% open rate to a 50, sometimes even 60% open rate. In my list, I have 11,000 people on my email list. So
it's more than a few.
It's more than a few, and they're all real estate specific. So we do really well with email marketing as well. Yeah, it's interesting, but yeah, those are the models I've seen success from.
I noticed you said targeting your words correctly.
Yes,
and
targeting and messaging.
And I think that kind of builds back into just the expertise you mentioned, because I know what to say at this point. I know how to say it.
Yes.
Like, it'll be this much for, and I know how to say it also. And you are a very likable guy. I'd argue.
Appreciate that.
And I think that's a huge other aspect. And maybe
you are as well.
Thank you.
Yep.
You got to be a people person.
Yes.
It seems in order to really grow something. Because
well said.
It's all about working with people. My dad did it a different way. He was a sweet guy. Not the best with people. Good with business, though.
Yeah.
I always feel that if we started this out on the other end, like he was where I am now, and that if I was where he was, wouldn't have been as successful. Like it needed that shark to start out.
Yep.
Now that sort of everything's established, it's up to me and happily to now expand it with what I'm good at. Interpersonal relations, chatting, selling what I do. It's very important. And I think bringing up just how do you, like what maybe some keywords you would use in your business in those emails, just like your success stories, tangible evidence seems so necessary in order to kind of sell someone on something. Not even sell them, just work together.
Yeah. I was listening to Alex Hormozy the other day, and I don't know if you know him, but he's a big time business influencer all over YouTube, all over Instagram, mainly YouTube. Shares a lot of great stuff. And he says, you have to show them, don't sell them. He's like, if you show them what you do and if you show them how you can help them, they will naturally want to work with you.
Yep.
And so that's been his model, and it's really served him well. And I do the same. And so I think the big thing with email marketing, it really is just getting the email to be opened. And the easiest way to do that is the subject line.
Yes.
Like whatever your subject is. Sometimes, my stuff's a little clickbaity, but at the end of the day, like I just want them to open it because I know there's so much value in there. Now, you can have a crazy title, but if it doesn't deliver, that's the fastest way to get unsubscribes. So like I make sure, like I've been doing this long enough, I know that whatever I'm putting in that email, for the folks who need the message or need the service, they're going to gain a lot from it. But yeah, that really is something I think so underrated. And if you do it consistently is what happens. It's crazy. I tell my team all the time, once the emails start going out, the phone starts ringing. Because the other piece to that is you have all these customers, but they know all the customers or a lot of the customers you want. And so to be top of mind, email helps you stay top of mind with your existing customers as well. But to get back to the beginning of what you talked about, like door knocking, if it works, Eric, it 100% works. And the crazy part is so few people are doing it now because they see it as old school that you have an advantage. And I think you'd be amazed at how fast your business could grow, which is similar to what happened to me in Hard Money. Like the minute I got intentional about reaching out to the people that I know needed the service, it took off.
Intention. I think that's such a good word to use for this stuff. And that's sort of what clicked with me when we met at the gym, just like you said what you did. And I was like, oh, a podcast. It's like that. I could absolutely would love to do that in order to market, to meet, to network. And even our fellow gym friend, Pat, I met with him. He's real estate lawyer, if I'm not mistaken. Great, informative man that knows a lot, very successful. And I'm just trying to have more intention with what I do, as opposed to feeling like kind of just flip-flopping around and twisting in the wind, because that's where I find I slow down. And with running a business, I'm sure you understand, it's like slowing down. It's not that it's not an option, it's just not ideal, at least for me or you. Yeah.
Not for any of us.
None of us. Yeah.
Yep. So let me ask you this, Eric. What role has mentorship played in your success?
An incredible role, a huge role. Like I said, that was a shark. Sweet guy. Tough, though. Knew what to do, knew what to say, knew what to charge. So I would be like, Dad, what do you think I should do for this particular client? Okay. Well, where are they? How do you, where are they? Is there a driveway? Because the mobile shredding trucks, they have to be able to go out there and park in order. So he taught me every single in and out of what I should look for in a stop, what I should look for in a customer, and also how I can sort of market what we do successfully. So, and also my uncles they ran a provisions company for about 30 years. So I have them as resources and mentors in terms of how should I market? What should I say? What should I charge? And I know that's, as the boss, that is my job, and I am doing that, but mentorship is so important. I feel like I could be 80, 90, and if someone has knowledge that I don't know, I will take that and I will use it. It seems so, in my opinion, silly to be like, well, I'm going to do it all on my own. You can. You absolutely can. It's going to be a lot harder.
Yep.
So it's like, if you have friends, if you have people who love and like you slightly, try to work with them. So I'd say mentors are crucial to sort of my success as well.
I think any successful entrepreneur would agree with the fact that we are forever a student, especially if we want to master our craft or master our industry. And, you know, mastery, I think there's a misconception there, because mastery isn't, I got it, I get it, and I'm done, I'm good. It's, no, I know enough to know that I know nothing, and I'm going to keep learning. And it's really been interesting for me recently, because I've been sharing this with my kids and a lot of my team members. As people, we have this mindset on, we desire things to work a certain way, right? Like, for example, it'd be great if I could wake up every day and post on social media and get 1,000 views, right? Or we wish it worked that way. Like, I'm making money just waking up doing what I want to do. But ultimately, we have to figure out how things actually work, right? Like, for example, when I was building my YouTube channel, you know, I used to think, all right, let me post in this slick way or clickbaity titles or whatever the case. But I hired a coach to really help me learn YouTube and how the algorithm works. And there are things the algorithm likes and there are things it hates, you know? And I remember I was talking to my son one day, like, man, this algorithm's hard. He's like, it's not hard. You just don't know how it works. You got to figure it out, man. It's like common sense, right? From a kid telling you that. But I'm like, he's right. Like, it isn't hard if you know what to do. It's only hard because you're not doing it the way it's supposed to be done.
Yes.
You know, and I think that goes for anything in life. It's figuring out how things actually work and doing those things. And so now, like, when I listen to successful people, I have to like almost like reprogram my mind to say, like, all right, let me just listen to this with open ears and see how whatever system or process actually worked for them, and apply it and see if it works for me.
Yes.
You know, and I think you touched on that with mentorship, man. You have to always be seeking that guidance, seeking direction, and seeking to learn from others, because the world is changing every day.
Rapidly.
Yep.
Like every day.
Yep.
There's a new, like you said, algorithms. There's a new algorithm. There's a new code you need to put in every
Correct.
single day. It's like we're constantly adapting, constantly needing to find new ways to market, work with these new factors at play. And like you said, I mean, even if it's from your kid, it's like we talked about earlier, the light bulb moment.
Right.
Oh my God. Why did I do that?
You're right.
Yeah.
You got it, man. But no, I appreciate you sharing that, because I think it's been a testament to your success now, and it's gonna be a huge factor in your growth over time, man, as you kind of lean on the folks around you that you can trust, and the folks who are doing the things that you want to do.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Awesome, man. What advice, Eric, would you give to your younger self that you learned along this journey? You know, and this is really for the audience, for folks who want to get into business. Like, when you're reflecting back, how did you think it works versus how it actually worked? And what would you share with your younger self?
Younger self meaning like when I first started out business-wise?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
It could be business or personal. It could be something you learned along the journey through all you've been through.
Personal one's probably the easier one. It's just take a breath. Take a breath. You got this. Believe in yourself. You have no reason to doubt. You conquer things. You handle things. It's okay. Just breathe. That for personal. For business, it's oh my God, that's such a good question, because it's one of those things that, like, I hadn't really thought about. What would I tell myself 5, 6 years ago? I guess it would be, big thing would be marketing. I would say it's just like learn how to work with people even better than you already do. It's just like learn how to market, learn how to sell yourself as what you believe to be. And like I said, it's someone who's proud of what he does. The other thing accept failure. It's going to happen.
Yep.
You can't let it derail you. I mean, it happens not every day, but not failure, but there's hiccups, there's roadblocks, there's red tape everywhere. So I think a big thing is do not just beat yourself up if you have a failure. A catastrophic one. It's okay. How many successful businessmen have had just tornadoes run through and they get back on their feet?
Great point.
Yeah. And then that's a big one. It's just roll with the boxing, roll with the punches.
Yep.
It's a big part of it, because if you try to be too much of a stone wall, I feel like you crumble a little bit eventually. Try to be more like water. You flow with it. You work with it. It helps the soul, helps the business, helps me a lot of the time.
I love that, man. Do you have a morning routine as well that you follow daily to kind of keep your mindset on the positive side of the spectrum?
Yes, I would like to say so.
Okay.
Like I said earlier, my kitten wakes me up at about 5:30 to 6 every day. She's my new alarm clock. That's fine. So before I go to the gym, I probably take about an hour just to write down everything I have to do.
Yes.
Business-wise and then personally, doctor's appointments, medicine, whatever. So then it's like 7, then I go to the gym, then I come back, take another deep breath, take like 30 minutes to be like, okay, working on intention. So I try to take a little bit of time to go, 3 things today, at least. Just get 3 things done, and then not to say stop there, but just get at least 3 things done and keep the ball rolling. Every day I try to get 3 things done. Not just 3, but at least 3, because it helps me go, okay, there's a check mark in my notebook. There's 2, there's 3. Let's keep it going. So it's intention, pretty much.
Love that. Have you read the book Atomic Habits?
I have not.
Check it out. It's by an author named James Clear, and it really speaks to incremental gains. And his whole premise of the book is getting 1% better every day. And if you can get 1% better every day, by the end of the year, you're 365% better. You're making 3 times the money you were making at the start of the year. You do that every year, you're in a whole different stratosphere. And his whole point is you don't have to swing for the fences every time.
Yeah.
Stay consistent, get a little bit better, and good things will happen over time.
Consistency. And that is something that is not newer, but as the boss, it's a different level of consistency because you have to handle so many things, so many factors, the phone calls, the emails. It's but as long as you get even those basic kind of arduous, boring, the droll stuff done, that's how you build.
Yes.
It really is. And then you can start swinging for the fences. Once you have the groundwork, grounded.
Yep. Love it, man. Cool. So last question, Eric, before we allow people to connect with you directly. Yeah. Any hidden talents or hobbies you have that you're willing to share with the audience?
Absolutely. For about a year and a half, I did ballroom dance.
Wow.
That was fun.
I don't know, man. I got the dancer vibe, man.
Yeah.
I could see you doing that, man.
It's a blast.
Yeah.
I did a competition. Never did it again, but I did it once. And I said, I did a dance competition.
I love it.
Haven't done it in a while, but I do love to dance. I did it just, it was something for my mom and I to do together. She was like, you want to dance with me? I was like, yes, actually, that sounds lovely. So
that's amazing.
We did dance lessons. It was a lot of fun. Just timing wise, like boxing is just better for me.
Yeah.
But I used to fence as well.
Wow.
With the swords and
light
stuff.
on your feet, man.
I try to be. For as tall as I am, I try to stay light. Love to read if I have time. Supernatural stuff. I love horror movies. Those are my favorite. But,
gotcha.
I'm a pretty simple guy. I like to eat. I like to sleep. I love my girlfriend. I go home. Yeah, it's pretty standard.
You're not a simple guy, man, but you're a good guy.
Thank
you're
you.
Great man. I love you sharing this. I really appreciate you coming on.
Of course.
And being transparent about your experience and how folks can really learn from what you've learned from over the years.
Absolutely.
As you're growing your business.
Well, thank you.
Awesome, man. How can people connect with you? And, we may have folks who want to learn about the industry or more importantly, folks who need shredding service. So
100%.
This is your chance to pitch your business. So give them your best pitch. You can speak into the camera and let them know how they can connect with you.
I would say the best way to reach me is through either best way to reach me is my phone number, 508-930-0295. If I don't answer you then, I'll answer you in 15 minutes. I will always get back to you. The website is destruction.com, which is pretty fun.
Wow,
I like
that's a great domain.
Dad got it 30 years ago.
Destruction.com, man. Wow, man. That's worth like major money.
We thought about that too, but at the moment, I'm like, let me keep it going.
Yeah. But that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, destruction.com. We got everything we do on there, the services, what we recycle, what we don't recycle, which isn't a lot. So it breaks down everything. Also, my email, pretty easy to reach me. It's ecarey, Carey 96 @outlook.com. Always on my phone, either phone calls or email. I'm scrolling through it like crazy. So feel free to reach out.
Awesome. Just a call or text away. Eric Carey, what's it? Datasafe.
Yes.
Destruction.com. I almost called it Destruction.com as a company name, man, because that's awesome,
It gets confusing sometimes. But yeah, Datasafe and then the website. But you don't forget Destruction.com. It sticks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome, Eric. Well, thanks again for coming on, man. Looking forward to staying connected, man.
Thank you.
Let's do this again, man.
Would love to.
Especially after you get your training program going here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Give me a week. Yeah.
All right, man. Good stuff.
Thank you so much.
Yep, absolutely. And that's a wrap. Until next time, guys. Thanks for tuning in.